What is your favorite Kramer moment, if you have one?
When I'm into the physical comedy.
Just anything.
Anything that's physical. I liked it when I used to get in brawls with little Mickey. And I would always tell Danny, now really hit me. You got to really hit me. And he could never really hit me. He was such a nice guy. I said, hit me. The harder you hit me, the funnier it'll be. Nope, he would not. So we used to wrestle and get into fights. And he always beat Kramer up. I love that. Having Kramer think that he could take Mickey, and here's little Mickey, just knocking him about. You know, it's just so good.
Did you ever get hurt?
No, I was well padded.
What do you mean you were well padded?
I had elbow pads, knee pads.
Did you really?
Always. I took all that very, very seriously. Red Skelton was a mentor of mine, and he wrecked his knees. I met him when he just turned 80. Mm-hmm. And he told me, I messed my knees up with all the pratfalls I did. I said, they didn't have all that gear then. He used to stuff paper and things down his pants. But today, back then, in the 90s, there was a great gear you could get to protect yourself. Sport gear, things like that. I was into it.
So you would show up on the set. So when I'm watching an episode, you got an elbow pad on, you got knee pads on.
I didn't tell anybody. Hey, look.
I know.
I had it on. I knew if I'm going to take a bump off that wall or the corner of that couch, or I'm going to go over that chair. Yeah, I'm gonna be padded up for it.
Wow, I did not know that. So what episode is one of your favorites that you point out like that? That's a Kramer moment that you're most proud of.
We were talking about Mickey a moment ago. He loses his temper and charges at me and throws his whole body on me, and I got to go off of a crate I was sitting on, about this high off the floor. I'm going to take it with his weight on me. Yes. My back is going to hit that floor. Mm-hmm. So I had a piece of metal made so that I could wear it and it would protect my spine. And when I hit that floor, otherwise, I don't know if I'd be around.
Writing your book, Entrances and Exits. Michael Richards here on The Rich Eisen Show. We had Jerry here, as I mentioned, just last month. He told his story. He said he hadn't really told much of publicly about the famed "The Sea Was Angry, My Friend" speech that Jason Alexander read off.
Oh, yes.
That you had the button on, one of the famous buttons in the history of the show. And he said that they came up with that idea the night before. And I'm wondering what your perspective of that story, your memory of that.
I mean, Jason delivers that so beautifully, and I get the button. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, that's wonderful, but we're working together. That's all timing. We came up with things last minute all the time. And I was improvising when I bring physical comedy. Lots of things that weren't there at rehearsal time would come up along the way. That was just so magical when you'd have that moment. I remember a time in the parking garage where the car was supposed to start up. We were going to drive. And the blow line, it's Kramer. He says, where are we now? And they're just going around in a circle, lost in the parking garage. Mm-hmm. Well, that car didn't start up. During the shoot, it didn't start up for us to drive away. So it's just left with and that's the perfect ending. Out of a mistake, but something that came up last minute that works better than what was originally in the script.
So that moment at the end of that episode was supposed to be the car starts and you drive.
We drive, and then it's where are we now? Because we're lost, all of us in the parking garage. It's if you know the episode. Of
course, yeah. I know every one of them.
Okay,
pretty much.
Yeah. But that's an episode where that car didn't start, and it just worked.
Wow! I did not know that one. I mean, seriously, I know I'm kind of fanboying here, but the car episode that you're also most famous for is the Thelma and Louise analogy, where the car is running out of gas, and you're taking the test drive.
Yeah.
And you just keep going and going and going and going. What's your memory of that one? Did you really? You sat in that car seat, I imagine, for
we shot that inside. It was an interior.
Right.
Being inside the car was a bit confining because I
Right.
like to move my body, but that's
Yes.
okay. We got through that one. That's a good episode. A lot of good episodes. You know, I cover all 9 years.
Yes.
In this book,
Yeah, just-
and I not all of the episodes, but I go for the best of the episodes and show how we put them together, the difficulties and also the big humor that we reached. You know, which we were always after. You know that one.
Of course, yeah. I mean those are and it. So many of them stand the test of time.
I think so.
Except the ones that are where a cell phone could kind of get you out of trouble, or even the car episode. Like now you take a look at your app and you'd see your GPS where your car is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they stand the test of time. Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. Netflix, thanks to them bringing all the shows together, of course, and you can watch them in sequence, which is how I watch them. I hadn't watched the shows. Well, probably 70% of them I never watched. That's just the way I am. Yeah, I'd look at them and go, "Oh, gee, I could do much better than that." Okay. You won an Emmy for that show. I don't know why. There you have it.
No,
shows.
I again appreciate all the storytelling.
Oh, I know what I was trying to say.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I was just trying to say I hadn't watched the shows, so many of them, and then I sat down with my son, the best dad ever.
Yes.
And we watched all the shows in sequence for about 3 weeks.
Was that to prepare?
I had to do that
for the
to
book?
get prepared for the book, to watch these episodes and remember so much about putting them together, and then being able to watch them, being so objective. I so enjoyed the show. I just relaxed and went, this is a really good show. And my son's next to me laughing. So the best son ever.
Yeah. How old's your son?
He's 12.
Okay, so he's completely introduced to this facet of your life through this process.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he's a new generation. He and his friends watch the shows. Yeah, and they like the shows. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely, again, translates for a 12-year-old to enjoy.
They love Newman. They really love Wayne Knight.
Why is that, do you think?
Well, look at this man. He would get angry and then puff his face up. It would be so red, and it looked like he's just going to die. I used to tell Jerry, who would laugh all the time at Wayne, I say, Jerry, don't laugh. Now he's got to do another take. You're going to kill this man. and Wayne says, that's the way I want to go. And I went, phew. Boy, he is really committed to his part. Far more committed than Andy Kaufman. He wouldn't die for his role. Wayne would, I'm going to do it even harder now. Make sure that camera's on and catch it. Yep.
Yeah, we were just talking earlier about if you control the mail, you control information. There's a great line by him, the way he just delivered it, calling
Wayne.
calling broccoli an evil weed. Isn't it great? Right? You're laughing about it too. It's so good.
Well, it's just so funny watching him. We used to shoot that show in the old Max Sennett building. That was the first studio out there back then when Sennett was making his comedies.
Yes.
So Wayne and I used to sit around and just talk about Max Sennett, the great physical comedians and so forth. Anyway, it was just so nice to know that we were doing Seinfeld in a building that's so historic for making comedy,
And making comedy history yourself. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.